Welcome to this week's edition of World Stories. USA, Donald Trump and Florida's Cuban exiles. Germany, a taste of nature. But first, to northwest Pakistan and a beautiful region close to the Afghan border. Here, former Taliban fighters are being offered classes in de-radicalization.
The picturesque setting of the Swat Valley. In 2007, the army led a military operation here to clear out the Taliban. Almost a decade later, behind the walls of this former hotel, soldiers are trying to deter and de-radicalize would-be terrorists. The fact that such a centre is still needed shows how hard the fight against extremism is. Mishal has seen over 1,500 men come through its doors since 2010. We were not allowed to identify the current class. They have either been members of terrorist groups or have helped jihadi fighters. Each programme lasts 3 months, where the students learn vocational skills and attend basic religious classes. The army claims a success rate of 99%. Muhammad Ali was just 19 years old and a university student when he was persuaded to head to Helmand in Afghanistan. He was trained by the Taliban, who threatened to kill him when he tried to leave. Authorities arrested Muhammad once he came back to Pakistan.
Jihad's real meaning is a person's individual struggle. But in their language, they said it means to kill people or be killed yourself. When I heard this definition, I thought it was the truth according to Islam, and this inspired me. I didn't have enough knowledge about it at all.
Muhammad is due for release soon and is convinced he will not go back to his old life. The men age from just 18 to over 70, and the resident psychologist says they pose multiple challenges.
Those who have social problems, we give them counseling. We teach students with a low IQ and give them tests. And those who are religious extremists, we have scholars who tell them the true meaning of our faith.
60% of Pakistan's population is 24 or younger. Experts suggest the crises in education, health and the economy provide a ripe environment for radicalization. These students at Peshawar University say they are often frustrated.
We don't have a job market here. Because of the law and order situation, people are not investing here. There was a lot of militancy in my area, in Khyber Regency. So we somehow managed to come here, but most of my classmates of the matric, they were radicalized and now they have died.
The government says addressing the complex issues that fuel terrorism remain a priority, but change will not happen overnight. Security officials will be closely monitoring Mohammed when he is released, though it will take years to fully assess whether the centre's attempts to de-radicalize him have been successful.
Islamic extremism isn't just a problem of the Middle East, Pakistan, or Afghanistan. In Nigeria, for example, the terrorist group Boko Haram has abducted thousands of women and young girls. Few ever get the chance to escape.
Christina Ijabla is getting the results of her health checkup. They show she's doing okay, physically at least. A month ago, the 20-year-old escaped from Boko Haram militants. They'd kept her captive for almost 2 years. During that time, she was repeatedly raped. Now pregnant, she's gone to live with her cousin. The militants kept telling us we had to get married. We resisted at first, but they became more brutal and would beat us over and over again. They ended up blindfolding and shooting one woman who put up a fight. Eventually, when they threatened to kill us, we just gave up. When her relatives saw her again, they were shocked by her haggard appearance, the product of 2 years of almost unimaginable horror. Of course, she's not the only victim. She says the kidnapped Chibok schoolgirls are among around 2,000 women Boko Haram militants are holding captive in forests near the border with Cameroon. The others were close by but were completely isolated from the other prisoners. Once we saw them reading from the Quran. They were all together. Earlier this month, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari held a meeting with a Chibok schoolgirl who was rescued from Boko Haram. But there are countless other victims, like Christina Ijabla, whose cases don't receive such attention. She's receiving neither psychological nor financial support. Those who've escaped face the challenge of reintegrating into society.
Their coming back may pose a danger to the society because of the reorientation they will have gotten from their captors.
We have to show them love, accept them, open our arms and welcome them home.
They should be at least taken to a different rehabilitation center.
Christina Ijabla and her cousin can't fathom why the Chibok schoolgirls have received so much more attention than other victims of Boko Haram. She's not looking for a meeting with the president, but she does want support for herself as well as her baby.
Now to the U.S. city of Miami, home to over 1 million Cubans, many of them staunch Republicans. We took to the streets of Little Havana to ask people what they thought of Donald Trump's campaign to become the next president.
In a district of Miami known as Little Havana, Cuban exiles enjoy a game of dominoes. The most conservative of the city's Cuban community generally support the Republican Party in the U.S. But with Donald Trump almost certain to win the Republican nomination, November's presidential election may prove different.
A presidential nominee doesn't talk the way that man talks. He reminds me of what's-his-name in Venezuela. He talks the same garbage.
These domino players say they're not impressed with Trump's moves so far, and they're not going to join in his political game.
As a president, he'll have cruel policies towards people who have to come and live in this country, those who have to leave their home countries because there are lots of problems in the world with poverty and politics, and with political leaders especially.
Lucia Ramon has been living in the United States for about 20 years. Despite her Latino roots, she says she supports Donald Trump. There are thousands of Latinos working in Donald Trump's companies, and all of them are happy with him. Because he's a man who, whenever he falls, he picks himself up again, even if he might fall 1,000 times. And that's what Latin Americans are used to seeing. The message he gives to the Latino community is that this is a country of space and opportunities. Lorenzo Palomares, a former Miami candidate for the House of Representatives, is Trump's Latino spokesman. He says the tycoon's political ideas have been misunderstood.
Mr. Trump did not say that anyone who crosses the border is a bad person. What he said was that anyone who crosses the border without the right papers is committing a crime, and that among those people there are thieves, rapists, drug traffickers and other bad people. But some of those who come here are very good people. The fact is that crossing the border in that way is a crime in the United States. Every country has its borders and citizenship rules, and they must be respected.
Palomares is convinced the Republican candidate will win November's election with the support of Latino voters, including the Cuban-American community. A grave concern for some, a grand hope for others. The controversial tycoon clearly has many in Miami's Cuban community talking.
To Germany now, where an initiative in Berlin has begun taking people on a culinary expedition to explore the taste of nature in the very heart of the city.
They're out on a hunt, searching for something to eat. At last, they taste some success. A lime tree in a Berlin park. Welcome to the world of Mundräuber. or mouth raiders.
The tender leaves here are the best. Just pluck them and try. You'll be surprised.
Marcel Severit is a first-timer. He advises companies on sustainability. Now he's discovering another aspect of green living.
I
think it's very interesting. I found about this on the internet. I didn't know there was so much to eat there. Mundraub is an organization that encourages people to go back to the nature and discover its known and unknown treasures. On today's menu is a tree salad. The Mundrauber are scouting for all available leaves and flowers in the neighborhood. The leaves are especially tasty between April and May.
I want to show people that nature is just at the doorstep, and wherever nature is, there's something to eat.
It's now time to relish the riches of the natural treasure hunt. A salad made of robinia flowers and lime tree leaves, spiced up with spruce shoots. I'm not sure if I'll eat a lime salad every day. Probably not. But when I pass by these plants next time, I'll recognize them, and that is a great experience. The mouth raiders learned that there is an alternative to packed salad from the supermarket, and that too right in the center of the German capital.